Hello everybody, this is a really quick video battle report of the Battle of Northampton, which is a Wars of the Roses game which we've just played using Billhooks rules. The table's all reset now, but I'll just go over what we had on the table, how we played it, how the game went down, and then as always I'll just give you a quick overview of what happened in real life, so to speak. So the Battle of Northampton was fought in 1460, July 1460. When the Yorkists forces, which in this case were led by the Earl of Warwick, this chap, came back from a period of exile in Calais and marched up the country to meet an army led by Henry VI, but in practice militarily more likely led by Buckingham in the middle there, who were encamped near the town, and they'd also fortified themselves in with a ditch and possibly a fence of some kind on the top of that ditch as well. And what was trying to happen here was the royalist army was trying to bide time until they got greater numbers close by, because they were outnumbered on the day. Unclear how outnumbered, but they definitely had a smaller force, and either use their defences to negate the superior numbers of the Yorkists, or hope that eventually they could stall them long enough for somebody to turn up and help them. So the game, as we played it, we divided both sides into 3 battles, as the rules suggest. So over on this side we had Commander-in-Chief Earl of Warwick, who had with him a couple of companies of archers, a company of knights, 1 of billmen, 1 of men-at-arms. On the left flank, the Yorkists, we have Falkenberg, who had with him 1 men-at-arms, 1 bill and 3 archers. On the right flank, we've got Edward, Earl of March, who would later become King Edward IV, but at this time, the time of this battle, I think he's only 18, but nonetheless commanded a wing on the day and had with him, in our case anyway, 2 companies of men-at-arms, 2 of archers and 2 of bill. And the overall scene, as you can see, we've set up a ditch over there, which is a mixture of resin for some water and cocktail sticks for a bit of a fence, all on foam core insulation boards. And on this side, this here represents Delapre Abbey, a version of which has been rebuilt, is still there, but was there in that position roughly on the day. And then over on this side, we've got ourselves in the middle here the Duke of Buckingham, who's got not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 archer companies backed up by 1 man-at-arms. Left side, we've given command to King Henry VI, who's got 1 man-at-arms, 2 archers and 1 bill. The right hand side command is Grey, Baron Grey I think he is, who's got 2 companies of archers and 2 companies of billmen. Also on this side, which is kind of matching what happened on the real battle itself, there is an artillery battery, which we were meant to have 4 artillery pieces, but I could only find 3 for some reason. So anyway, there are 3 artillery pieces in among that royalist fortification. So here's how it played out in the Billhooks game that we've just finished. So as you'd expect, the Lancastrians were reluctant to relieve their fortified position, and although they were slightly fewer number, they were well dug in, and in the real battle, Baron Grey had done a deal with the Earl of Warwick to basically turn traitor when the Yorkists approached and let them straight through the defences. Now, we built a system into the game whereby when some Yorkists got near Grey, they would do a dice roll, which depending on that roll, he may or may not turn. Now, when Falkenberg over there took a few casualties in the artillery and then got within 6 inches of him, Grey rolled, Grey stayed loyal, which was quite a crucial point in the game, as I'm sure you can imagine. So he didn't do what he did on the day itself in the real battle. And that was quite crucial, really, because once that he refused to turn, it was at least an even game, if not it was more in favour of the Royalists. So over this side, once Grey failed to turn, Falkenberg's lot got pretty cut up, really, by archers and artillery, and didn't get very far and actually ended up routing a lot of that lot. In the middle, Warwick tried to edge towards this central battery of archers controlled by Buckingham. Again, didn't get very far, barely got shot off, got a lot of casualties from artillery, and ended up heading over towards the King's side. Over this side, the Yorkist advance was much better, so March actually got all the way up here and actually got inside the fence and within 1 unit of the King, and was actually fighting the unit that the King was in at one point, but ultimately got beaten back after he'd made quite a lot of progress and had threatened to start to turn the tide in favour of the Yorkists. After the Yorkists take a lot of casualties, it would be March, if it was going to be anybody, who might pull out a win for them. But then he ended up taking a battering from his men-at-arms eventually as well, and also got driven back. So in the game, the Yorkists lost, and at no point did they really ever look like they were going to win it, because once Grey had refused to turn, that was it, unfortunately, pretty much. It was always an uphill struggle for them from there. In real life, what happened was quite the opposite, in that Grey flipped. He went ahead with his deal with Warwick. Another thing which happened was it chucked it down on the day, which rendered a lot of this artillery pretty useless. And once Grey had let the Yorkists in through the fence on that right wing, they were able to cause a lot of panic and roll up this line, and the battle was over very quickly and became a victory for York. And the King was taken into custody or protection at the Abbey over there before he went on to Northampton, and then on to London, where for a time the Yorkists are very much in ascendancy. So that's what happened in the real thing. Again, Billhooks was a great system to use. I must say again, I've scaled it up massively. This is at least double the points you're supposed to use. It worked fine because we didn't worry too much about command distances, and we also gave all our leaders sort of 3 stars, so made them the highest command level possible, and that all generally seemed to work well. The way we did the weather was dice roll every turn, and if it was wet, where you were on a 1 to 2, then you couldn't fire. But generally they rolled pretty well, the Royalists, which meant they got a lot of fire off, which caused the Yorkists a lot of problems as they're coming over that ground. All in all, great game. That's a few games of Wars of Rage I've done this year in reasonable chronological order. And the Billhook system, again, popular at the moment and proving well even when you scale it up to this size. So thanks for watching, everybody, and see you again soon.